went for Purple Man, the springs activated, killing whoever was in the suit, and it fell forward, activating right then, crushing someone, but no one knew why. It was a malfunction. And they said they had no possible reason for that. And Golden Freddy is in the second one, and that's what it says. He said multiple spring lock failures in the third one, which are triggered by wetness. Technically, in 1987, the restaurant had no things that could make it wet where it would do that. Except for maybe the Soul automatically made it where it did that. And remember, the bite of 87 couldn't have happened in Five Nights at Freddy's 4 because it said 1983 on the TV, and he was watching a TV show, a live TV show probably. And it was 5 days until the thing, so it couldn't have been 4 years until the birthday party. That wouldn't have happened. So anyways, I'll show you more images, guys. And guys, also, why, you can't find him anywhere except for that one poster that he changes in the building. You can't see him sitting down until he's in your office or change the poster. You can't find him in the halls, you can't find him on any of the cams. You find a poster and him in your office. And remember how there's a storage room in the minigames that you can't go in because it's an error? It's because this suits with endoskeletons are not designed to go in there. But Golden Freddy's always slouched down. The Soul goes in it, and it was meant for a costume for people to go in, and they put it in the storage rooms. So it's like the souls can are magic and stuff. Basically, they could teleport. That's why you see that the Soul changes it, goes in the Golden Freddy suit, waits until you see it, then he teleports at you and kills you. But technically, he doesn't have an endoskeleton if it was used for costume. They don't have endoskeletons. So technically, the endoskeletons were what made it where they couldn't leave. Endoskeletons were the things that made it where it wasn't designed to be able to go in there, prevented them. But Golden Freddy had no endoskeleton. He couldn't have. He is always slouched down because he has nothing inside of him. It was used as a costume. So that's why he could go in the storage room and no other animatronics could. Same with the Phantoms. They're not really animatronics or human beings at all. They're just phantoms, like hallucinations. So anyways, guys, I'll show you more pictures later. Remember that Phantom Bonnie minigame that there was? Where you and the Golden Freddy minigame? The reason Springtrap was right next to him is the oldest diner, the first time they made Freddy's Pizza. First, it was just this small place that had only one room, the diner and the kitchen, and there was only Freddy. Well, then the second one, they sold everything in there, including Freddy, and then they got the pizza before the first Five Nights at Freddy's, and the second and the third and the fourth. Well, not after. The fourth actually happened here because if you could see, there's only 2 animatronics and a bunch of Golden Freddy suits. Well, look, the reason Springtrap's in there is because another person's inside of him. And they're both stored in there because the multi-spring lock, basically failures. They said it happened on both specially designed suits, which means because they wouldn't do it with just one, they did it with one first, then they did it with the second one because another multi-spring lock failure happened. You guys get that? So anyways, so that means that the Soul did that, made it go crazy, because Springtrap was only used barely. Then, they had to close down because of the bite of 87. So, basically they were closed, and Springtrap and Golden Freddy were put in there, because technically Springtrap didn't have failures then. They had to close down completely because of that. And Springtrap did. Springtrap was just put in the storage room with the Golden Freddy's. Except Springtrap, you never seen the first 2 games because he was put in maximum, priority. And actually, in one of the calls, it says that every time they go back in the storage room, they see the Golden Freddy suit moved. That's why. That's how we know the Purple Man did that, but the Springtrap suit never moved. So either one, because the soul wasn't trapped inside there then, so he was trying to find his victims, but first they escaped. They said 6 were killed, but technically there's more kids that's come and go. He still worked there. He probably tried to get more, but they were able to escape and they didn't trust him. Or maybe their parents were just staying close. He was only able to kill the 6 that their parents weren't around. It's like big brother, little brother kind of stuff. So anyways, he never used his Springtrap suit because no one knew about that. They all knew Freddy at the time. Because Springtrap never moved from the stage, unlike Golden Freddy. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go show you more pictures in a second. Another reason I believe this is all the older ones, which were after they closed down, they tried to reopen it. But they found the original Freddy, and by the time, the same exact company got them, but turned those into it because they found the technology to, while that one pizzeria was closed. They kept Golden Freddy and they dismantled the other ones because they went crazy too, turned them into the toy ones. And remember, Five Nights at Freddy's happened after the second Five Nights at Freddy's, which is kind of weird because Fun Guy's still alive. And he keeps talking about the back room, and then he says, I'm to wait until someone checks out the back room, which he either faked his death, which might be the most seemable answer, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he did die and he's not Phone Guy. He might be basically put into Golden Freddy, and that's when Golden Freddy starts attacking more, because there's 2 souls inside of him, making him stronger. And in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, if you look, Golden Freddy looks exactly the same. Nothing happened to him. He looks exactly the same as he did in Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, and before then, except he just has more wires out of him because they tried to put an endoskeleton, but something prevented them not to. The reason Five Nights at Freddy's 2 ended was because they found red oozing blood out of them. That they eventually just ignored it, put it in the safe room for repairs, and eventually they found bodies in there, and they told the police but told no one else, and they had to close down because of safety inspections, and there's enormous health problems. So guys, that was the second thing. I'm going to show you one last picture and why I think this. So guys, this is the last thing. Basically, it's a follow me minigame. Anytime you play it, there's no Golden Freddy. You don't use Golden Freddy. In all Five Nights at Freddy's 2 minigames, there's no Golden Freddy except for the one that they have back in the day when there was only Springtrap suit and Golden Freddy suit. That's the only one. There's no, and when he doesn't have a mask, the reason he can't be in a mask is the kid didn't die inside of him. Maybe he died farther away, like he managed to escape the suit but he bleeded out. Or, in other words, Purple Guy tried to bury him because by the time he actually got some murders, they already had the Freddy suit and stuff, and they were starting to come to life, which he knew the dangers of that and stuff. So this one, it says don't follow me, and see, like, which it says don't follow me, and that's Phantom Freddy. The reason you might be thinking is maybe Phantom Freddy is working with the Purple Guy because like, he's an evil phantom, unlike Bonnie, who helps the marionette. Well, that's not it, because Phantom Bonnie, you play as him, but not Phantom Freddy, and Phantom Bonnie gives one of the kids cake. So anyways, this is what happened. Anyways, Phantom Freddy is probably not it. He is probably good, but his work was trying to team up with Purple Man, but he wasn't teaming up with Purple Man. It seems like that, but they already had a plan that basically they would stop the Purple Guy, but maybe Phantom Freddy saw, because he's a phantom, what will happen if they tried by themselves and they couldn't be dismantled. Maybe if they were dismantled, their souls would be able to escape the bodies and rise. And that was probably Phantom Freddy's plan, because afterwards, Purple Guy dies. And that's what I think. See, he comes out of nowhere, out of those two rooms. And I think that, you might think that the Purple Guy is in a Freddy suit, and he made his own Freddy suit. He doesn't have the machinery to. Remember, he used the golden Freddy suit to kill people. But anyways, enough of that. It's like, I just believe that because technically the other ones don't have spring locks, and they said that many spring lock failures made them put the suits somewhere else. They didn't do it when one person died. Why would they do it if it was their employees who signed a contract saying that they are not reliable to death and injuries and stuff like that? Well, maybe they had to because it was a kid, because why else would they do that? They didn't do it when one of them did it. They did it when two, but I know they wouldn't do that to employees because it's wrote in the newspaper where their ad is trying to find the job that they're not reliable to death. But Golden Freddy was still in it. Later on, he's not. It's like he doesn't have a phantom in the third one. That's regular Freddy's. Same with Bonnie. Bonnie, though, is their phantoms made by Springtrap, but they were never, ever animatronics. Golden Freddy was never an animatronic because he doesn't have an endoskeleton, like I was saying. So, guys, please post in the comments what you think about my theory. If you don't, just don't post any rude comments. Just post that you don't and tell me why, but don't just don't post anything rude. It's kind of rude. You know what I mean? Like, just because you don't believe me doesn't mean that you have to be so rude. It's a theory, of course, but it could be true. Scott Cawlon, if you watch this, please tell me if I'm correct or not. I will delete the comment afterwards so no one else sees it unless they have already seen it by the time I get one, or just post it to an email. I have a newer email, dbrumley27@gmail.com. I'll repeat it, dbrumley, BRUMLEY, at 27@gmail.com. You could do that so no one else sees it, but I really want to know if I'm correct about this, because the game, if you post in 1987, the first ever one, which happens after the second game, is this timeline. It's a family diner, then it's the pizzeria, then it's a pizzeria, but it's the second one, it's a reopened one. Then it's a pizzeria again, but with the first ever characters, and then it is the last one, which actually occurs last. And Five Nights at Freddy's 4 happened in the second timeline. It was the pizzeria for the first time, not reopened, but before then. So please post if you believe, if you think that's it, Scott. And I don't get this off of other theories. I've seen other theories, but none of them really strike what I'm thinking. Because people say it's Five Nights at Freddy's 4 is it, but I beg to differ because I've done some research where scientifically, without a frontal lobe, you can't have fear and you have a low attention span. So it couldn't be the fourth one. It has to be either, and that kid that died, it says, "I will put you back together," which is creepy. It would have to be a soul, the first ever kid that died. And there's other characters. How else would there be plushes? They're not actually real if it's not happened. Because in the first diner, there's only one character. The second one, when they opened the pizzeria, they made it, but they had it in different pizzerias they got. And then they had to put them there because they had no other one because of the bite of 87. That kid died, so they have to make more just in case. And then that's what happened to the bite of 87 after that. That's when they had to hide the suits completely. And then, but Golden Freddy's the only one that moves, but he's always slouching. You can't see him. It's like only a soul's in there, not an exoskeleton. The other ones you have to see on camera because they have an exoskeleton. Their souls can't just teleport it. They need the exoskeleton stand. And he has no exoskeleton, making him